After school programming comes in many different shapes and forms, and it is widely held throughout many schools throughout the nation. It has a lot of advantages for students as they're developing and just enabling them to explore more of who they are about themselves and areas that they have interest in, as well as helping them gain more knowledge outside of the regular classroom setting. There are many different aspects to after-school programming that can take place. These come in many different forms, including curriculum, clubs, service, and sports. There are also other areas that can help for students to just provide opportunities for them for a little bit after school to help them explore. We're going to take a look at these four and just the benefits and maybe some challenges that come along with each of them. So for curriculum, it provides just importance of exploration and discovery. These curriculum that you can have after school include just areas of them, maybe helping them in math or in science or areas that they're struggling in, just to allow them to discover more, but also providing activities where they're able to explore deeper into math settings or deeper into science projects, and just helping them find areas of what they like and they enjoy, but also just broadening their understanding of the world around them. So one aspect is with the exploration. You need committed educators with an appropriate stance. They need to be wanting to help the student explore. They need to be there for the students so that they're able to just understand more of what is goes into the projects, and letting the students have choice in what they're going to choose. They're going to need to create curriculum that equally embraces exploration and academic rigor. You can't just only have students be exploring different areas but not challenging them academically, nor can you just have them be challenged academically but not letting them explore areas that they want. If the students aren't invested and care about the content that they're learning, they're not going to take away anything from it. And so this implies broadening when testing have narrowed our curriculum focus. So these after-school programs of curriculum that allow for exploration allow for students to just discover more of what they want to discover, not only being what the state or the nation has mandated for them to explore. So this is a pretty broad stance of what exploration is, but how it can be applied in schools is to really just look into different areas for students, allow them to express their interest to you, and then as the teacher going in and searching for projects that they may do or activities that they can explore, and not only deciding everything for them, but allowing them to have choice in what they're learning, and so that they can explore areas of interest for them. You can also provide articles that have different just topics. Maybe you do a water unit and you can do wildlife or the habitat or just different animals that live within it, but letting them choose something between there allows them to explore what they want, but also challenging them academically. For the discovery aspect of it, these programs just have a lot of benefits in allowing the students to discover more about themselves, more about their abilities and their interests. It can just figure out more what areas they want to continue to pursue and help them discover, oh, maybe I'm not so good at science, but that doesn't mean I can't challenge myself in it. Or maybe I really don't like anything about Civil War. Well, then let them explore World War II. Allow them to discover different aspects that they care about and helping them be involved in their learning. They can also discover more about others and examine the values of the community in a whole, allowing to see where others have interests and where others are finding success and finding joy in searching and learning more about allows for the student to grow closer with each other and just building that community within your school and your classroom that students are going to want to encourage each other and challenge each other and want to push them to do better. It also allows for them to discover one's environment and our interdependence on each other. We wouldn't be able to solely figure things out on our own. In this way, students can discover that they need the help of a teacher, of their peers, of their family or friends to help them explore and gain more knowledge of a certain topic, where they're able to go out into the community and get to know people more and just discover more that way. So just being willing as a teacher to being open to listening to your students' ideas, and then also being willing to put in the work of investing in them and allowing them to explore will really help you implement it in your classroom. So some clubs that are often used after school can include what we commonly heard of, like a chess club, science club, chemistry club. Like, those are some generalized clubs, but there's also just clubs like of any topic that can be used. And the one article talked about was called Youth to Youth, and it's a very effective after-school club. And this Youth to Youth is a substance abuse and violence prevention program. It emphasizes enhancing developmental assets and adult-student partnership. It allows every student to come into the classroom and feel accepted for who they are and not feel judged. And it does many different aspects of the students. It wants to help them be aware of substance abuse and violence and just how to go about correctly handling a situation, what to avoid, what to do, and also just allows them to work on leadership through team building and awareness activities, and just also empowering the student to be able to stand up for who they are and just different aspects that they believe in. And it's a growing club, and something like this is so powerful for the students to just want to come to school every day. They're getting to know their peers more, they're finding friends, as middle school students are transitioning through many different phases, this is an amazing program that allows them to develop more of who they are and just areas and learning more about themselves. So as a teacher, involving students and wanting them to get into clubs, if you see that your school is in a lack of a club, talk to your supervisors, talk to people to try and see if you can get a club started, because they can provide an opportunity for students to just be interacting with their peers and getting to know them more and building friendships and relationships that they may not normally find. And these clubs can help them challenge themselves and just to become better students all around. So taking that time as a teacher to invest in your students outside of the normal school hours, you'll see huge benefits later on and through your classroom with your students and the community feel that you'll get in your school. Another after-school kind of programming is service. This is becoming a widespread use to help enliven learning. Service learning, it just helps students understand the importance of serving others and the importance of what service brings to their community and to the world around them. Without service, we would be lost in a sense, in that nothing would really ever get done. And so for having students to understand that and wanting to apply that to their learning, you'll see huge benefits later on. This is a great way to bring learning to life. I mean, you may talk about the water cycle, but you know what? Have your students go out and serve in a wetland or serve in a conservation area and let them see how the environment is working. Let them see how, like, when the rain comes, how it affects the environment around them. You can have them clean it up, help them pick up litter along the side of a street and help them see the difference that it's making in the environment. This is kind of a cool quote from the article. It said that education isn't only about the future, but also what students are capable of doing now. We're not only, as educators, preparing the students for the future, but we're letting them invest in what their abilities are letting them do now. And so having your students know that they are capable of going out and serving the community around them when they're only in 7th grade, letting them see that they have value and that they have talents that they can bring to the table and that they can really help out the community around them now, and then they can take that with them as they continue on throughout their years of schooling and into their adult life. And that's really what we want to help these students be prepared for, is a life willing to help the community around them and serving others. So what it kind of looks like in action, these are some examples that were brought up in the article of growing fresh produce. They started a little garden, and a lot like what Morningside has with the garden to table experience, and how they're allowing for them to just serve their community and get them actually growing fresh produce and letting them see how that is working and letting them be able to reap the benefits of it. One was working in a wetland conservation and just preserving it and help the environment around it. And another one was providing resources for literacy for low-income families. And this was a cool one, I thought, because it really sought a need in the community, and they went out and served, and they tried to provide a way for these low-income families to still have access to resources that they can have. They can read books to their children when they're young and help them in their literacy aspect, because with the wage gap just growing, we have different areas of resources being available, and wanting to provide an equal opportunity for every student who comes into the classroom. They really saw a need in the community and went out to serve in that area. So as a teacher, you can implement service learning, and a big chunk of advice is to research resources in your area and opportunities where you can grow in service learning. Reach out to some leaders in the community or areas that they think that, hey, like, we may need this part to be picked up every once in a while, or hey, like, if you guys could fundraise for this, allowing them find opportunities where they'll personally see the benefits of, will really help them and encourage them to stay invested in the program. And then that way they'll really be able to see that the difference that they're making, and learning how to work with other members of the community, letting them learn how to work with their peers to help make something happen is a really powerful experience for them. And, really providing that opportunity for them is huge for these students. Create partnerships within the community. Allow the students to see that everyone's working together here to make a common goal, that we are all on the same page, that we're not competing against each other always, but we want to work with each other. And then often reflect on what is working well and what can be improved. Reflection is a powerful tool, as we well know in education, and it is the same with service learning. Reflect on what is going well and what can be improved. In this way, allow your students to reflect on the difference that they've made in areas that they also continue to see a need of and just having these opportunities after school where they normally would just go home maybe and watch video games, but allowing them to go serve can be a huge benefit for them, and just wanting them to continue to serve each other even during the school day, and you'll see a difference in your classroom. Lastly, one area for after school programming is sports. Now, often these interscholastic sports are known as very beneficial for students, and as one who continually participated in them when I was in middle school and continue to participate in sports now, I am personally on the other side of how much of a benefit it's been in my education and my figuring out of who I am. However, there are some areas of the sports that can cause for concern, especially in today's day and age where winning seems to be everything, and the competition aspect is getting huge, and time invested in the sports are becoming pretty high. And so some of these concerns are including unreasonable expectations for students. That's going to cause a lot of stress for them. Injury rates are increasing, and just concerns about the psychological stress that it is causing for these students. They may fear a failure constantly and going home not winning, and how that can affect them and their image of themselves and who they find themselves in an identity. And so being aware of that and just trying to help provide a positive environment for these sports. But a lot of these benefits include opportunities for them to participate. They can build skill levels and experience positive outcomes. I mean, the use of coordination, of the exercise that's available, of just the health benefits, and how we know that how being healthy helps through the development stages and just helps your mindset in general, allows you to have a positive mindset in school. So some recommendations for how to go about creating a positive atmosphere for sports includes a clear sport philosophy for all programs, making sure that each sport understands that the main goal is for helping students just develop in person and who they are, and it's not always about winning, can be a huge stress relief on these students. Offer both intramural and interscholastic sports, having opportunities where maybe it's not so competitive for students to still get the exercise and enjoyment out of it, but not always be stressed about the outcome. Maximize enjoyment, allow for students to just have fun once in a while and just allow them to appreciate the sport they're in. Some other ones include establish policies that support commitment to academics, making sure that they know that they're student athletes allows for them to make sure that their focus stays on their academics, and that is ultimately what is most important here, and that sports can help enhance that, but aren't the main focus. Allow for multiple sport exploration, employ coaches who are knowledgeable, and keep safety as a top priority are all ways that you can just provide an environment for sports that just really help enhance it and allow it to be beneficial in time for students to be in. So with these different areas of after school programming, my main advice for you is to get involved. Take this time to get to know your students more, for them to provide opportunities to just allow them to discover more about themselves and who they are, and just find areas that they can enjoy, because it really can be a beneficial time for these students and just their development. So be open to being willing to be participating in that. Thank you.